Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Howtokickoff and I'm an NFL free agent, and today I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know about how to do a kickoff. If you like this video, drop a like and subscribe for more kicking content. And again, kickers and punters, if you're interested in virtual training at all, I'm going to leave my email in the description and just email me, your name, if you're a kicker or punter, if you're interested. So first, we need the right kickoff tee. This is the one I use. This is called a ground zero kickoff tee. This is what it looks like. There's another version that's square up here, and it has an indentation on the top where you can put a ball for like an onside kick. Either one is fine. This is a 1-inch kickoff tee. They also make a 2-inch that's taller. If you are 9th grade or above, then you want the 1-inch. If you're younger, I would get the 2-inch, and you can get these off Amazon, or Wizard Kicking is a really good website to get a lot of kicking stuff. But yeah, this is the ground zero kickoff tee, and this is the one I highly recommend. All right, now that we got the kickoff tee, next, make sure you get a good warm up, especially for kickoff. But before you do any kicking, you want to make sure your body's nice and warm and loose so you don't hurt yourself, pull a muscle or anything like that. But kickoff especially, because it's a very explosive movement and you're putting a lot of force normally on your body. So make sure you get a good warm up, and if you'd like to see like exercises that are a good warm up for kicking, leave a comment and let me know. Or if you want to see like my warm up that I do before I kick, leave a comment and let me know. All right, so now let's talk about ball setup. This is the first thing. So if we're kicking that way, we want to make sure we set the ball up, and we want to be straight up, and we want to be a little bit to the right. And on kickoff, because you're teed up, you can actually lean the ball back towards you just a little bit. Some people like this, some people don't. It can help you drive the ball a little bit more. But the main thing is, we never want to lean the ball this way towards our plant spot. You always want to be either straight up or to the right as a right-footed kicker. Now, if you're a left-footed kicker, obviously you would reverse that and we go to the left. But as a right-footed kicker, you want to lean it away from you to the right. And like I said, a lot of times I'll lean mine back just a little bit this way. So you kind of want to put it diagonally back this way. And again, some people like it more straight up and a little to the right. Some people like it more straight up. It's kind of personal preference, but I really think a little bit to the right and a little bit back is the perfect way to set it up. And I'll show you another angle. As you can see, that's pretty straight up, maybe a little bit of lean. And then laces are nice and forward. So next, I'm going to show you how to find your kickoff steps. And this is really important because kickoff steps, you really want to be smooth and no stutter steps, and you want to build momentum. And if you have consistent steps, it'll get you in your plant spot where you need to be consistently every time, and that's really what you want. So first, here's the kickoff tee. If we're kicking that way, we're going to take our field goal steps. And our field goal steps are normally 3 back, 2 over. So 1, 2, 3, however you take your field goal steps. 1, 2. And you want to be in the same spot as you normally would kick a field goal. And you're going to mark this. So here's my left foot. You're going to mark just to the right of it so you have a little room to cross right where your left foot is. And so now you're going to walk back up to your kickoff tee. You're going to measure it 1 foot's length away. And you're going to put your left foot or your plant foot there. So again, I'm a right-footed kicker, so my left foot's my plant foot. So that's where you ideally want to plant. And you want to have your toes even with the back of the kickoff tee. So we're still kicking that way, but this is just to find your steps. And then you're going to do what we call walk, jog, run. And this is to find about a natural location where you'll start. So what I was taught is walk 3, jog 3, the last 2 are about 75% speed, okay? And you're not trying to get to any point. You're just going where it naturally feels comfortable, and you're building momentum, no stutter steps. And then when you plant on that last step back there, you're gonna mark that spot. So I'll show you what it looks like. So again, measure, put our left foot here. And then also you want to make sure you're going down your line right by where you marked your field goal steps, because you want to be on the same angle as your field goal steps. So this is what it'll be like. So walk, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So, and this is where I hit. So then I would turn around right here now, and I'm gonna do the same thing going back towards my kickoff tee and see if I can hit my plant spot, and if I hit in the same spot with those same steps. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And I hit my plant spot. So that means that spot's a good spot for me. We're gonna mark this spot back here, but now to find our actual steps, we're gonna walk straight back till we get even with that spot, and we're gonna count our steps. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So it's 11. So now I'm even with it, so it's 11 back, and now I turn and walk to it and count those steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my steps would now be 11 and 6. And you might have to do this a couple times to find your spot, but I think this is a really good way to find your steps. Just at least when you're starting out. Some people change them up along as they go, as they get older, but this is a really good way to find out your steps. Another thing, when you're taking your steps back, don't take huge steps, don't take really small steps. Just take natural walking steps so that you can recreate that every time. Because if one time we're taking really big steps, we might be farther back than we normally are. Or one time we're taking really small steps, then we're gonna be closer than we normally are. So try and just take normal walking steps backwards until you get to your spot, and make sure you're counting them, and then go over. And yeah, so that's how we find our steps. So we got our steps. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the stance and your approach. So if I get back here, the stance really is just personal preference. You know, some people like starting a little more weight forward. I like starting upright here, a little bit back, and then I kind of rock back and forth just a second, and then just that way I can take natural walking steps when I get going. So stance is a really personal preference, up to you. I would start left foot forward, but I used to start right foot forward. Again, it's really personal preference. So next, the approach. So that walk, jog, run tempo, we want to keep the same approach every time like that. And we just want to build momentum. The main thing is we don't want stutter steps, and we don't want to be snaking like this back and forth. We want to be on a straight line. So we want to be smooth. We want to make sure there's a difference in our transition from our walk, jog to run. And we want to be smooth and hit our plant spot. So I'll give you just an example. So 1, 2. Now, I wasn't exactly at my steps, so I didn't hit my plant spot. So you just want to be smooth like that, and you want these steps consistent to where they're the same every time. That way it's very repeatable. And that way it puts you in your plant spot in the correct location every time. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is ball contact. A lot of y'all have been asking me to do videos on that, and I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I do talk about it in my how to get more distance on kickoff video, but I'm going to talk about it a little more here. So if we cut this ball in half, right in the middle, I guess that's right about half right there, we want to go just below it. So we probably want to be right in here. Another thing is we want to be right on this seam, or even just a tiny bit inside. We don't want to be on this outside, okay? So we want this big part of our foot, the bone. If you count your left, the inside shoelace hole, it's 1, 2. So that big bone right there on your foot, that's where you want to hit here. That's where you want to hit the sweet spot. So if you slow it down, you want to be like that. And notice how my foot's not there. See how my heel came up? Because that's driving the ball more. You're not going to get any height. But if we're here, that could get height, but it can put a lot of pressure on your groin, and that's not good either. You want to be right in between. So you're going to be right here, and again, the big bone in your foot, the top of your foot right there, you want to hit that seam about 1 inch below center, 1 to 2 inches below center of the ball, and you want to come up and through that right there. The last thing is the hurdle. We got everything else. The hurdle is the other difference from a field goal. So on a field goal, you come, you swing, you skip through, land on your left foot. It's a nice skip. With kickoff, we want to get some more momentum behind the ball and get a little more into it. So what we do is a hurdle for the follow through. So it'd look like this. And you land on your kicking foot this time. So you land on your kicking foot this time. I'll give you one more demonstration real quick. So instead of a swing and skip through like that, like a field goal, it's gonna be, okay? And so what this does, it'll transfer a little momentum through the ball. It'll get a little more on the ball, a little more power. You wanna try and land maybe a yard upfield. If you're younger, you might not be able to quite get a yard, that's fine. But eventually as you get older, you can go a yard, 2 yards, and a bigger hurdle will transfer a little more momentum, a little more power to the ball, and you'll get some extra yards. Now, the one thing we gotta be careful of is when we do that, make sure we're not, if you're crunching a ton, it's gonna kind of limit your follow through and your hurdle. So if you haven't watched my how to get more distance on kickoff, go watch that. I talk about this a little bit, but I'll kind of go over it real quickly. You want to stay a little taller, and you want to swing and let your leg come first, and then you can crunch a little bit after that, okay? We don't want to crunch before we kick the ball, but if we swing, hurdle, and then crunch, as long as we get that hurdle before we crunch, that's okay. You will naturally crunch a little bit, but you want to stay tall through the kick and then let your momentum crunch you a little bit. And yeah, so that's the hurdle. So put it all together. Let me take my steps and show you. All right, so we put it all together. Our steps are contact. I'm not gonna actually kick a ball here, but I'll show you what it looks like. So again, smooth steps, good contact, and transferring that momentum, that's gonna produce a really good kickoff. So don't swing out of your shoes. Make sure you try and get good ball contact. You have a smooth approach, and the distance will follow. All right guys, thanks for watching this video on how to do a kickoff. This is pretty much covers everything. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. Leave it in the comments, smash the like button. And again, kickers and punters, if you're interested in virtual training at all, I'm gonna leave my email in the description, and just email me, your name, if you're a kicker or punter, if you're interested, and we can talk more on it. So yeah, give this video a like. Hope it helps you guys out, and stay tuned for more kicking content.